It was a chilly Valentine's Day evening in 2015 when the peaceful town of Eldoret was rocked by a crime that would haunt the community for years to come. The small town, known for its tight-knit residents and beautiful, quiet streets, had never experienced anything quite like this. Hannah, a 32-year-old successful businesswoman, and her fiancé, Michael, had been in a relationship for nearly 3 years. Their love story had seemed like something out of a fairy tale. Michael, a charming and well-liked local mechanic, had proposed to Hannah just 6 months earlier, and they were preparing for a wedding that was meant to be the talk of the town. But behind the scenes, things were not as perfect as they appeared. For months, Michael had been acting distant, and rumors about his involvement with another woman had started to swirl. Hannah, heartbroken and suspicious, had been quietly investigating, trying to uncover the truth. On the night of Valentine's Day, after weeks of growing tension, Hannah decided to confront Michael. She invited him to their favorite restaurant in the heart of Eldoret, hoping to salvage their relationship. The candlelit dinner had all the hallmarks of a romantic evening, but the air was thick with unspoken words. Michael, however, was not prepared for what was coming. As soon as they were seated at the table, Hannah slid a piece of paper across to him. On it was a list of names and evidence suggesting that Michael had been seeing someone else for months. His eyes widened in shock, but he didn't speak. His silence spoke volumes, and Hannah's heart shattered into pieces. The confrontation quickly escalated, with both shouting at each other in the middle of the nearly empty restaurant. Hannah, overwhelmed with emotions, stood up and slapped Michael across the face, causing a scene. In a fit of rage, Michael stood up abruptly, knocking over his chair. With a look of fury in his eyes, he grabbed Hannah by the wrists, pulling her toward the exit. The restaurant owner, noticing the escalating situation, tried to intervene but was quickly pushed aside. Outside, the air was colder and the moonlight illuminated the tense standoff between the couple. They exchanged harsh words in the parking lot, but before anyone could react, Michael made a move that would change everything. In a sudden, violent outburst, he pushed Hannah to the ground, causing her to hit her head against the concrete with a sickening thud. As she lay there, disoriented and bleeding, Michael stood over her. Without a word, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a knife, something he had kept hidden for weeks. Hannah's screams echoed in the cold night air, but no one came to help. Michael, in a blind rage, stabbed her repeatedly, each strike brutal and deliberate. Her life drained away quickly, and within moments she was gone. The police were called, but by the time they arrived, Michael had vanished. It wasn't long before the entire town knew about the tragedy. Michael's disappearance became the talk of Eldoret, and a massive manhunt was launched to capture him. Weeks passed with no sign of Michael, and the town slowly came to grips with the brutal crime. But the story didn't end there. A month later, Michael's body was found in a remote forest just outside the town. He had committed suicide, leaving behind a final note. "I couldn't live with what I did to her." In the note, he confessed to everything, how the relationship had crumbled, his betrayal, and how, in a moment of uncontrollable rage, he had taken Hannah's life. The tragedy left the entire town shattered. No one could understand how someone they had once trusted could commit such a brutal act, especially on a day meant for love. Michael's family, devastated by the loss of both their son and the woman he had loved, was left to piece together the pieces of a story that would never be fully understood. To this day, the memory of that Valentine's Day in Eldoret lingers, a chilling reminder of how love, when twisted by jealousy and rage, can lead to a devastating and irreversible tragedy. If this story captivated you, be sure to subscribe to Tales by Reddy for more thrilling stories such as this. Share your views in the comments below. See you in the next one.